Welcome back, Gwenters. I hope you guys are enjoying this video series. If you are, please leave a like, and if you don't mind, a comment about what you like most. Also, you can say something you didn't like, something you'd like me to change. Post that up down below. And if you'd like to keep seeing more of my face, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm short of the 1,000 subscribers I need to help both pay for my student loans and all of this computer equipment. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in here and talk about Northern Realms. So we have done Skellige. That's what we did with our second video. Right after we did the very first tutorial, we're now going to do Northern Realms because that's just next up in what I do every day of every week. So we're going to cover that right here. Northern Realms is pretty fun. Honestly, one of the more fun and enjoyable factions for a lot of people. What I've done here is just right-clicked on the deck. You can do this by holding down on mobile and then pressing Edit Deck. This is going to bring you into the deck builder, and it's going to show you how you can add and craft new cards to add to your deck. I'm going here not because I'm going to change any of these cards. I think you should just start with this basic deck, but you can come in here to hold down if you're on mobile or right click if you're on PC to look through all of your cards. Well, Geralt we recognize. He destroys an enemy with 9 or more power. We know what he does. Nenneke. Okay, so we talked a little bit about what Zeal does for our for Skellige. There was a couple of units with Zeal. And you have to be able to meet that condition with them. Some Northern Realms units, like Nenneke, if you've read the books, you know who she is. She's awesome. Automatically have it no matter what. So she goes ahead and she's able to use her order, which boosts a unit by 1, and she gets 4 charges. So she is 5 points that she puts down, and then she boosts units 4 different times. You can use that all at once. You can use that across different rounds like you do with your leader abilities. And don't worry, I'm going to walk you through exactly how that works. Don't stress about it too much. Just note that that's how she works. And Northern Realms relies a lot on orders. You're going to see a lot of orders. That's kind of how they work. They are, a lot of people say, the most patient play faction, where if you have a really long round where you're playing a lot of your cards, Northern Realms usually does pretty well because they have a lot of what we call engines, which are cards that get you points over time. And we're going to describe to you a little bit more how that works. Sanjay just leaving a comment up in here. Geralt Premium, you now start off with it, which is nice. I didn't start off with the premium version. The way to make him, though, Sanjay, is to just come and craft a brand new card. That's the only way to make a new one of these starter cards that you get. Also, the only way to transmute these cards as well. For those of you who are interested in transmuting them to get the premium version of Nenneke, you have to create a new card and then give it that give it that transmutation by using that meteorite ore. I actually like that they did that because you can't accidentally destroy these cards that are the starter cards. You'll always have them. Don't sweat it. You can always use them anytime. Surrender is a card that we've played with Skellige. It's going to remove 2 armor from all units in a row and damage them by 2. It's actually quite nice. Works pretty well. Prince Stennis works a little bit like Nenneke, except his is not in order. He does it on deploy, and you can either boost 1 unit by 4 or 4 units by 1. If you remember when we played Skellige in the intro video, we had 2 options on some of those cards. If we played one to melee or to ranged, Stennis works the same way. On a Stringer, at every allied turn on turn end, boost unit to the right. So when you set your cards down, you put her down and you put a card to her right. At the end of all of your turns, she's going to boost it by 1. Inspired, oh, what does that mean? Okay, this is a new keyword that you haven't seen that is just applicable to Northern Realms. Inspired is going to trigger the ability if this unit's current power is higher than its base power. Remember, you can always check the base power here. The easiest way to see this on the board is she's going to show up as green. With her number will show up as green. So if it's 5 or above, she is going to be inspired. And boost adjacent units, meaning the one on the right, which she was doing already, but also the one on the left she's going to be boosting by 1 as well. So that works really well. It's a great card. She is good in so many decks. So get used to her, like her, love her. We're going to be using her a lot. No, you can still craft the starter card, Sanjay. You just have to come down and press craft. You have to create the new card, and then you can transmute the new card that you made. Derogea Vol, deploy, lock a unit. We've used him before. Radovid the Incessant. Now, we actually used him in the tutorial, and we've played against him since. So he boosts himself by 5 when you play him, so he goes to 6 points. And then whenever you play a soldier, summon this unit from your graveyard to a random ally row. All cards that go to your graveyard have their points reset. So when he comes summoned, he always comes out at this 1 point, but he's just kind of a free card that you get out every time you play a soldier. So he's really good to play in an early round and keep getting his free points as you keep going. Temerian Infantry, damage an enemy unit by 1 for each boosted unit in this row. This row meaning your own row. So the more boosted units you have in a row, the more damage this card does. Temerian Drummer works a little bit like on a Stringer, except that he only boosts the unit to the right by 1 at the end of every turn. Quality card, very useful. Lyrian Landsknecht, formation, order, damage a unit by 1, inspired. Remember, that means he's boosted above his base value. Damaged by 3 instead. Oh, what's this formation thing? Notice I skipped over that. That's because it plays into the inspired. Formation means if played on the melee row, the front row, gain zeal. Zeal means you can use those orders right away. If played on the ranged row, boost self by 1. So you have the choice of playing him to the melee row and using him right away to damage a unit by 1, or to play to the ranged row, wait a turn, and if he stays boost, he doesn't take any damage. He's going to go ahead and damage an enemy unit by 3. Note that this technically says damage a unit. Whenever it says a unit, it means you can damage something on your own side as well. So I don't want you to worry too much about that. It can be helpful in very limited situations, but it just gives you a little bit more flexibility whenever it's a unit instead of enemy unit. Oh, I clicked off of him. Karak City Guard, Veil. Remember that Veil prevents poison, prevents bleed. It also prevents helpful things like Vitality, which we're going to get to in a minute. Vitality is just the reverse of bleed. Every turn it's going to boost a unit by 1. She is the world's, I would say, not the most pleasing on the eyes, but very effective at her job. And she has this order where she moves an enemy unit to the other row. So you know there are some cards like that On-Crate Longship from Skellige, where as long as it's on the front row, it's going to keep damaging you. And so you can go ahead and set her down. It is an order, so you have to wait a turn. But note that at the end of your turn, if the order is not used, she boosts herself by 1. So she can kind of just keep boosting herself until you need to move something, and that can be really helpful. Tridem Infantry, whenever this unit receives a boost, damage a random enemy by 1. He's a pretty useful card. He gets played a lot in the end game as well, so get used to him. Lyrian Scytheman, boost self by 1 for each boosted unit in this row. He likes to be played in a very long round after you've played a lot of cards. That he plays for most value there. Dun Banners are really good. Whenever Dun Banner receives a boost, summon all copies of it from your deck to this row. Very good card. Really good quality. I totally recommend it. Radovid's Royal Guards. These guys have formation. Remember, they play them to melee row. You can use their order right away. Or if you play them to ranged row, they will wait a turn, but they'll be boosted, which allows them to get this inspired value. So the regular order is boost an allied unit by 2. Inspired gives it 2 armor. And you'll note if we come back here to this drummer, it has this little note here. So this does not count for points for the round, but it counts for how much kind of health the guy has. So if he was to get damaged by 3, it would hit the armor first, and then it would hit his points. So he would stay alive, keep doing his stuff, even though this wasn't worth a point. It just keeps him alive for longer. So Radovid's Royal Guards are really good for keeping your units alive. Then Redanian Elite has this armor already as part of him. On deploy, he boosts self by 6, And then you see this exposed. Well, exposes trigger this ability when the unit loses its armor. So this guy is really good so long as he keeps his armor. But if that armor gets removed or he gets damaged, he's going to lose all of that boost he has. So he plays, he's basically like a 7-point card if he doesn't get hurt. And that's it. Let's jump in and show you how they work. Okay, Sanjay has a concern that we're going to first ameliorate right now, though. So if you ever want to say, Tridems is a card that I really like. If you really want it, oh, they really don't let you they don't let you craft it now, huh? So you do have to actually pull it from a keg. Okay, that's a little annoying. All right, so these cards you can't actually transmute. My advice was actually wrong. So looks like you can transmute these guys, but you can't transmute those other ones. Not sure why. You just have to pull them in a keg and get them boosted that way. A little unfortunate. I'll make sure to put in a thing with the developers so that they know. All right, let's go ahead and jump in here and play a game. Playing a game against other humans like this is what's frequently referred to as playing on ladder. It's called that because you can improve your rank and move up in your rankings. So, ladder. All right. Note that you can't ever lose your ranking. You can only lose your progress on your next one. So, Radovid is a really great card to just get here right away. A lot of these other cards are actually pretty helpful together. I'm going to put back Temerian Infantry. I just don't love them that much. This is really helpful. And we're up against Northern Realms here as well. So it looks like somebody who has already tweaked some stuff. Okay, this is a great combo that we'll get to in a minute. And let's go ahead and put him back. Okay, perfect. All right, so first thing I want to do here is go ahead and get down my Radovid's Royal Guards. And I'm going to explain why in just a minute. But we get him set up here, and he is... I don't have anybody to boost right away, so there's no reason to put him on the melee row. And if I put him on the range row, he's going to get that inspired to give armor, which is really helpful. And next we're going to play down this Temerian drummer, so that way we can boost a unit. And we're going to go ahead and use the Royal Guards, which boosted him from 3 to 5, and change his armor from 1 to 3. So now he's a little bit stronger, and you're going to watch at the end of my turn, he's going to boost the Royal Guards from 4 to 5. So at the end of every turn, he's getting that boost value, which is really helpful. And as I've said before, for your first time with each of these factions, don't sweat too much what the opponent is doing. It's just not worth it. Now, this takes me to another Gwent basics lesson. I could boost honor right here using tactical advantage, but I want to show this first. So right now, she's not boosted, so she's only going to boost the one on the right. But in Gwent, everything resolves itself from left melee to right melee, and then it goes to left ranged to right ranged. So this drummer is going to go first. He's going to boost Anna, and then Anna is going to be boosted when it comes to her, and she's going to boost the one on the left and the one on the right. So even though she wasn't boosted at the end of my turn, she became boosted when it got to her card for her to resolve. So looks like the opponent saw my Anna and said, oh, I don't want to deal with that, and took the pass. Now, I've talked about this number before, but I think it would have been smart for the opponent to keep playing there just to get me to go down to 6 cards so that they were 1 card ahead. They didn't do that, and that's okay, but it is what it is. All right, so I love these done banners. I'm going to teach you another thing here called bricking. Bricking is when you get a card that you don't want. And these done banners, whenever done banner receives a boost, summon all copies of it from your deck to this row. I don't want the other version of him, so I need to watch my mulligans. And I have 2, so if I draw the other one, I can still put it back. Now, I could draw the other one. I don't want to. So I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, you know, I don't love this Lance Connect card, but I really don't want that other done banner. So I'm just going to be done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Nothing else we need to do there. We're going to take Radovid now, and we're going to go ahead and play him down. Remember, he's good when he dies at the end of this turn, or if he gets killed off, he's going to come back out every time we play a soldier. So he's quite nice. And remember, we ended at 7, so we have 10 cards here. So I'm going to do something called bleeding the opponent, which is where I'm just trying to get the opponent to play out as many cards as I can get them to play. Right now, I really like these Temerian drummers. They're doing a lot of good work for me, so we're going to go ahead and put him down. Yeah, the starter decks have improved quite a bit. They've added a lot better cards. So yeah, it's just the starter cards from the base copy of the game that you can't transmute or create, huh? It's a little unfortunate. All right, so the opponent here playing the Tridem Infantry, you saw him doing that random damage. Looks like it just hit into the armor of Tridem, and it hit the Radovid once. So a little annoying, but we are more than fine here. I'm actually going to go ahead and play down this done banner to show you how a summon card works. This is also called a thinning card in Gwent. So if you hear people refer to as thinning, it means a card that takes something out of your deck. And because you start with 25 cards, you're going to miss some of them when you're drawing. You can't draw all of them. So the more cards you can get out of your deck, usually the better. Because you want to get some better consistency. So the more of these bronze cards I get, you see here I went from 12 cards in my deck down to 11 cards in my deck. That means I have a 3 in 11 chance of getting this Geralt that I really want. A 3 in 11 is pretty good. Also, technically, you get 2 mulligans, right? So I guess actually, technically, it's 5 out of 11 chance of getting it, which is almost a 50% chance, which is much better. So the opponent set this up wrong. Note that it's not mirrored. The left to right is the same for both players, and the pictures remain the same. So it's just flipping which side of the board it's on. And I don't have a great way to describe that, but note that this says at the end of your turn, boosts the unit to the right by 1. Well, the Tridem's to his left. So even though, like if this was mirrored, it would be to his right. But note that like the card art shows him pounding the drum towards the thing he's going to boost. So right here, this player put this wrong. They really wanted to get that Tridem on the other side, which we're going to show here shortly. And our leader ability here is called Uprising. This allows us to boost cards by 1, and we get 3 charges. And once we've done the 3rd charge, it's going to play this Lyrian Scytheman, which you remember him. He, on deploy, is going to boost self by 1 for every unit boosted in the row. So right now, we're well on our way to getting all of these units boosted, which is pretty nice. And we're going to get to that probably in this round. And just really kind of pushing the opponent, forcing them into a poor situation. And we're just doing kind of this random damage every time we're playing these. That works quite nicely. And the opponent here is committing all of their leader charges for some reason, unbeknownst to me. I don't know. We're going to go ahead here and play our Prince. Let's actually play Nenica. Oh, no. We're going to play Derige. And we're going to go ahead and lock up this Temerian drummer. Just don't want him being able to boost anyone. So now if the opponent puts something down next to him, he's not going to give any boost. All right, Field Medic is coming down, giving that boost, that Tridem Infantry, getting good value there. All right, I do want to boost 4 units. Unfortunately, this Trebuchet is kind of going to cause me some grief, but there's no great way around it. So what I'm going to do is actually play this Lyrian Lance Connect now. And then I just need to leave room on a row, which brings me to a next topic. Rows. You can only have 9 cards on a row. So right now we're at 7. We don't want to play any more than one more on this row. Arbalest is actually a pretty good card. Alright, now what we're going to do is play Prince Stennis. And we're going to boost up all of the cards that are gray. Try to get as many boosted cards as we can. Now, if I boost up the Tridem, that would have damaged an enemy unit by 1, which would have been helpful. But I'm trying to get as much value as I can for this leader ability. And right here, we're just going to go ahead and smack this Lyrian Arbalest and pray that our random damage kills it off. No such luck. Yeah, imagine if I would have drawn Geralt here. We could have killed this Tridem Infantry, which is... Everybody starts with Geralt in all starter decks. You never want to get one up over this. Okay, so this guy misclicked. Note that this says damage a unit. He used this attack to hurt his own unit. I don't think he meant to do that. Is what it is. Alright, we're going to play Nenica here. And we're going to just boost up this Dun Banner twice to get a boosted unit, and then we're going to put the rest of it over here on Tridem Infantry. He was going to go to 9 points already anyway, so Geralt killing him off was going to happen regardless. So we're going ahead and just putting it on there. And since this guy passed a little prematurely in round 1, he's really feeling some pressure here. Down by 20 points. Probably getting a little frustrated. Stinks for them. But getting that boost onto our Tridem, since he was going to 9 points anyway, worked well for us because he is doing that damage to the opponent. So whenever you're boosting this guy, it's actually 2 points. It's 1 for you and -1 for the opponent. So we're going to go ahead and do that again with all 3 of these. And then playing out our Scytheman, who comes down for 12 points because he's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. Maximum value. Now, Surrender is better in a long round, so right now it's actually going to get us 8 points. But I'm ahead by a lot. And I'd rather have what is called double last say. Now, if you watched our other videos, you know if you win the first round, you lose the second round, you'll still be able to play the last card in round 3. Well, the opponent has to play this card, so I'm going to go up by a card, and I'll be able to play the last card. So for me, I'm pretty content with just letting this go. And if the opponent plays something legendary and scores 30 points, I'll be able to come back. Not enough. This really should have been played next to this Tridem Infantry, getting that going like ours was. So a little unfortunate for the opponent. Stellar win by us. Turns out I've played a lot of Gwent, so I kind of feel like it's a little unfair for me to be doing this, but I'm only playing with the starter deck. This player has obviously added a couple of cards to their roster. So, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. Note that you have this progress you make when you win games in a row. You get 2 pieces instead of just 1, and that's what the 2 out of 5 means. So, and so you just want to keep winning games in a row. That's really helpful for you. Great way to go. And look at this. We got 6 contracts completed just by doing that. We got a monster keg. We got Geralt's coin, because there's a special event going on right now for WitcherCon. We got 50 scraps. We got a reward point. GG is at the end of the game. You click that little button to say good game. You want to press that every time just because it's nice. Gives the opponent a little bit of stuff. And it's just kind of the polite thing to do. The only time you don't have to do it is if your opponent does something really toxic. But that's probably not going to happen to you for a really long time. And honestly, even if they do something that you really don't like, they tried hard, they worked hard, and they should be congratulated for their game. So just, you know, table manners. Be polite. All right, well that's a wrap for today in Northern Realms. Stick around on this playlist if you want to see me play monsters. Until next time, though, good luck out there. Have some fun. Keep on the path and keep on Gwenting. Bye for now.